And we're live, everyone. Welcome to today's live session where we're going to be starting about talking about the best SEO conferences to attend. And then we're going to do our usual Q&A session, answering any questions that you guys may have. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat. But before that, we are sponsored by the News Guy. The link is above. The logo is above. The link is below. So that's for the News Guy digital PR service. If you're looking for backlinks, brand awareness, maybe even to try and get yourself into the AI overview and things like that, it can be used. So check it out and play around and see what you can get. But I thought I'd start this session, Chris, with the topic of best SEO conferences to attend. Both of us have attended a whole bunch of conferences over the years, and I've got one next week in the US, SEO Spring Training. I think you were there last year.
Yep, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting in the sunshine, two, catching up with some old faces that I've not seen for a few years because it's been a while since I've been in the US, and yeah, hopefully learning some cool stuff as well, because they've got a whole bunch of guys there that do some cool, interesting stuff. So you enjoyed it last year, right? You went to the baseball and shit like that?
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. Had wings, all I could eat wings. Chatted with Clint. I had a great time. Definitely the what would you call this? The venue was amazing. Plus the weather was really nice. People were good. And also too, I think that's the first time I saw someone utilizing that make.com.
Yeah.
Like that automation, and it was like we were playing around with AI, but putting it all together, he didn't show that. But it looked good though. It got me tickled. I was like, oh man, I need that.
Yeah.
A year later, it's everywhere.
Yeah. It's it'll be interesting to see how far on some of these guys have got with that stuff. If they're talking about it last year, it'll be interesting to see what cool shit they're doing with it now, or if there's something different that maybe we should already know about, but we don't. So should be fun.
Is that so? You're going to that one to speak or just showing up?
No, I'm going. I'm not doing a presentation. I'm doing a question and answer session with Dooley, who I don't think Dooley's been to the US before to do events and stuff. He's obviously been to the US before on holiday and stuff, but yeah, I don't think he's actually attended any events over there. So we're going to do a kind of Q&A thing, try and mix things up a bit, because that audience in particular, as a speaker, it's a super experienced audience. A lot of the guys that attend that event all have their own SEO businesses, right. And they're all probably at a very, very high level. So what do you present? Do you go and present some more bullshit about, I don't know, GMBs or fucking CTR or whatever it is you're doing? It's hard. It's hard because you don't know what someone else doesn't know. And I find events like that in particular very, very hard to do a presentation at, because what can I say that's going to interest, a lot of those guys? Because you don't know where the gaps are. Because you know this as well, but some of the super experienced guys are really bad at a certain thing, but you don't know what that is. And it's just pot luck whether you hit the sweet spot with your presentation. And obviously you want to go to these events and try and give something, some value. So yeah, it's a difficult one to speak at. It really
are you under the weather? Feeling okay?
I'm blocked up a little bit, but no, I'm all right.
Feel good? Okay.
Yeah. How come?
Then, as a side note, Mr. James Dooley, man, he's a pleasure to talk to. I think the business of SEO would be great from him. He's very clever,
Yeah.
smart guy.
Oh, he's a smart guy. My
He's
only,
quick,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
he's crazy.
super fast.
It's just whether the questions extract as much value out of him as you can possibly get. That's where sometimes when you do these Q&A things, they don't go that well because the questions are not that good, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
It reminds me of something else that we sometimes get involved with. The conversation is always guided by the question.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so
absolutely.
on that note, guys, we do have Eric and Anthony here. Let us know who's there, who's listening, any problems, questions, situations, or otherwise. Please put them in the chat and we will answer them. But yeah, how come you asked me if I was under the weather? What made you think that?
Just the way you're sitting, and then I heard you. I don't know if you were like sucking up some like bugs,
No,
but you
no.
just seem a little bit slower
Yeah,
than usual. You're not sitting forward. Yeah, I
I'm
thought it
not.
was because I was late. I was like, oh man, Craig's pissed.
No. My Charlie had tonsillitis and stuff, and I think me and the wife have now got the aftermath of the tonsillitis. Like one of my ears is blocked and shit like that as well. And I don't feel unwell. I just feel just a bit
Down.
groggy. Yeah.
Yep. I can see it in your
Um.
face, like your eyes, like yeah, you
So
just don't seem peppy.
yeah, I'm a bit tired, but it's also end of the day and all that stuff as well. So
It's true.
yeah,
Fair
but
enough. But we're here though.
we are here
That's
no
right.
matter what. It's always good to come on and make the effort and see what the chat is. MD Supreme SEO from Legit is here. But yeah, so other events, Chris, while people are coming up with your questions, guys, super important you ask questions so that we've got stuff to work with. But whilst the guys are coming up with their questions, other events, so obviously I was mentioning spring training there, but other SEO events where you've actually found value, because I get asked all the time, Chris, what event should I go to? And it's obviously very difficult to advise. Certain events have certain good points and all that kind of stuff, and are maybe for a certain crowd, and others are not. So other events where you could hand on heart say there's value at that event. What other events have you been to where you feel there's massive value for people?
I haven't been there in a while, but I used to always like getting the recordings. I could always pick out some nuggets. Rockstars was always very, very nice. Another one was Digital Unfiltered. That was good. I just talked to her name is Melanie, so might be able to do that again in Vegas. That was us.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one coming to UK for the first time. The gentleman, what was he was a friend of yours. He has the shaved head.
Yeah,
He put us
SEO
on.
Underground.
What's his name?
SEO Underground, Paul Hogden.
Not yet. Well, that was the event name, but there was a particular gentleman there giving up the tapes on like a page template. I forget what he called it, but he was doing opinion sculpting. But then he was also showing like
Peter,
pages template.
Peter Van de Graaf.
Clever. Some of that stuff we use today, not in the way he explained it, but it got us our wheels spinning. So that was a golden nugget.
Yeah.
Spring training, rock stars. I've never gotten Diggity's recordings, nor have I been to Thailand for his event. However, I hear a lot of good, but I've never been there. Other than that, I went to the Philippines. I went to India. It's I don't really go to that many. You would have much better insight, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, some events are super advanced. And, there's other ones where I feel that some of the presentations and stuff are more tailored towards the entry level people to the industry. So that's always difficult. Sometimes you turn up to events and you're like, fucking hell, the level of presentation is fairly low, and there's not a lot to get from an informational point of view, but also you need to think about who's there, who you're networking with, what stories are being told at the bar, who's doing business at the bar, or at one of the events or whatever. And I think, young Skylar's here, I think they're having a golf day. I'm not good at golf, so I'm not going to that at spring training, but we've got golf day and stuff as well. So I'm sure people going around the golf course, hitting a few balls or whatever, may also be doing a bit of business and stuff like that as well. So, it depends on what you want to take from the event. But like the likes of you, Chris, when you're going to some of these events, you're not at the full event, are you? Sometimes you come in, do your presentation, and then you go out for dinner or whatever. So,
well, there's usually I'll see the lineup, I'll see the topic, but there's usually one or two people like I want to hear. Okay, let's hear what they have.
Yeah,
or I'm trying to corner them into a conversation at the bar, or take them to eat. I want to hear what they have, and depending on that, I might want to corner them in the elevator. Follow them to their room.
In the elevator.
Yeah, definitely. Spark up a combo, then invite to dinner. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really. For me, if I could get it online or if I could see a recording, I really like that.
You don't like leaving young Chris, right?
I don't want to leave Chris, nor like I'm trying to build. So it's like to take essentially a week plus travels, like the expenses are a write-off. I get that. But you're away from family and from work. You just can't work the same from a hotel. You can get work done, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So plus you're in a different mind space. So yeah, I try not to leave.
Yeah, that's it's not easy, but I'm looking forward to the sunshine at SEO spring training.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone here is going, I shall see you there next week. I think I arrive there on Monday, going a few days early just to acclimatise. The only criticism I could ever have is how far away that is. For me, the other side of America, it beats my ass every time I go that direction. It literally takes me about 3 days to acclimatise. So hopefully by the Thursday, which is when it starts, I should be semi-normal. And Skylar says you were amazing last year at spring training. What did you present at spring training last year when you were there?
I was probably going over test results. I think I utilized live clients though. So like, here's the test, here's what we learned, and then here's where we implemented it, and here's the results.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably the formula. And I followed that formula to India, to all of them, but I made different presentations. That's the formula though.
I think people like to see under the hood. If you can do that, fair play to you for doing that. Because not a lot of people do it that way.
Yeah, well, and two, you're the one. You're funny. You're like, oh man, you have to create a new one for every single event. And then like I saw everyone else, not you create new ones, but I saw everyone else like trailing, like using the same ones over and over. But that's definitely more work,
I mean,
like I got there and I'm like, wait, I just saw this, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Only a few people do it, a new one each time.
It's hard to give it a completely new one because sometimes the stories overlap or whatever, the crime lord story and various other bits and bobs for the knowledge panel. Like if I'm going to be talking about building a brand, building a knowledge panel or digital PR, that sometimes comes into play, that story. But yeah, I think you've got to try and mix it up. You don't want to hear the same old shit,
right.
month on or every 3 months or whatever. So it's always nice to try and do something different that people have not heard. But on the flip side of that, Chris, I've had people going, fucking hell, I heard someone mention this story, but I've never seen it. Can you tell that story? I've actually been asked in more recent times to go and tell specific stories at events. So they're like, can you come and tell this, and this? Because I've seen you present it before. I want you to do shit based around that. And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
So
It's easy.
yeah. Holly is also going to spring training as well. Holly is in the chat.
Terry almost got me too. He's like, "Hey, I sent you a discount, a deep discount. Come see us, come visit." And I was like, "Oh." And my birthday's on Friday. I was thinking about it. Hang out with Chase, mess around in AZ. It's nice.
Come on, dude. Come down.
Yeah,
You've
I
not
know.
met Dooley, have you?
Oh yeah, yeah, in London.
Oh fuck yeah! So
We
you
had
did.
dinner, steak.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we were
forgot.
chatting it up. Kazra numerous times. I like
Yeah,
those guys. They're good guys.
yeah. Nah, I didn't know if you'd met him, but yeah, you should still come down anyway. Could be fun.
It's my birthday.
On Friday, dude. Come on.
I know I'm going to be napping
What? Your birthday's this Friday?
this Friday.
Yeah, but we're not going till next week.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm good. I got work to do. Nah. Once Little C's a little bit bigger, no problem. That'll be cool. Little
He's,
vacations.
he's saying no, Holly. We need to work him. We need to work him.
Well, sell me on this. Why? What? Other than the side ventures, what do you think would be a big draw? Other than seeing you and the boys and hanging out. Other than that,
that's what it's all about.
does the value exceed the cost and the time?
I think there absolutely will be. It depends on, again, what you want, but there's guys like Dan Cutts there who obviously last year spoke about make and stuff. I would refuse to believe that he's not got something up his sleeve that you'll be like, whoa, fucking motherfuckers beat us again. There's JP as well. I won't be able to make it this year, unfortunately. Have some family. That's not good.
Holly called me a wimp.
But
I guess I am, really.
there's always another one. Yeah, I think I refuse to believe that. I'm not saying everyone's got amazing new stuff up their sleeve, because you can't just invent new shit.
I know.
That's the thing. But there's always someone there who's doing some cool shit.
Something cool.
Yeah. So
that's what I value there. Is I'm looking for new ideas, a new system, something new. What's exciting? What's new? What's next? And how do I get there first?
our Saul is asking, what you guys planning on talking about at this conference? I am doing a Q&A session with James Dooley, just because I said it earlier before you came round. It's hard to present something new all of the time to that audience, and you don't know who knows what. So I think offering people the opportunity to ask questions and pick our brains is certainly something that I think could work well, rather than just presenting on whatever whatever it may be. So it's a tough crowd, man. It's a tough crowd there. So they're all super experienced guys, and that's what makes the presentations even more difficult for me, anyway, because you just don't want to keep regurgitating the same shit. So yeah, that's the plan with that. But guys, give us questions. We've not had any questions of note, other than who's going to the conference.
Hello. MD Mahadi says hello. Skylar, Saul. Yeah, it's been. There's nothing going on this week, is there?
No.
How did you get the live video to show up inside the reel? Or inside of the, yeah, I think it's a reel. How did you get it to show up in the little, I don't know what they call it, the little bubble? Up at the very top, I saw the live, and then I think it's a reel. Here, let me see what it's called. How did you get that to do that? Yeah, you're up in the top. It says Craig Campbell, the story. Is that what it is? You just submitted the live video as a story, and then it shows up there.
Oh no. That was last week's live stream. So I put a video out about an hour prior to coming live from a previous live stream, and just said join me and Chris on this session. So yeah, it's not. It shouldn't have this background or anything in it because I think I was in a hotel. But what happens now on Restream, Chris? It's now got a thing there where it creates reels for you based on the live that you've just done. So it's an add-on, but it basically does it all for you, and you can just whack that out. So
Okay, so it's a button. Did you decide to stick with Restream?
for now, I looked around and I couldn't find anything that was that different. Obviously, it's bugged out a few times. I think in general, I've probably been on Restream for more than a year now, and in general, it's been okay. It's just there's a few times where it done that thing last week and whatever, which cocks things up, and it can set you back a number of weeks, like we're probably seeing now, because people think you've buggered off again. So that is just pretty frustrating. But having a look around, it's either go to StreamYard or fucking go to one of the other ones. And I'm not a fan of Riverside and stuff like that for live streams. It's fine for a podcast and stuff. I just don't like the it uploads and all that. You know, it's uploading live and all that kind of stuff. There's potential there for shit to go wrong with Riverside. So yeah.
Well, and I saw, like I mentioned, what's his name? Oh man, he's got the SEO video show. His name is
Dre.
Paul. Yeah, yep, Dre. So he was utilizing a system. There's only two that are software that sits. And I spoke to him over email because I was concerned about, hey, when say you're out and you know how this is really nice and handy. Well, he said if you go into the live feature inside of YouTube, it'll pick it up right from there. So as long as you have it on your desktop, there is a cloud version too. Right. So you can just stream it through YouTube, and then it'll distribute through everything, and you get all the functionality. So it's a one-time fee. It's got all the bells and whistles. It goes to unlimited places, and it converts it. It's insane. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name of the software, but I bought it. I think it was like $6. It was affordable when you look at it in a longer spectrum. It's not as cheap as this in a year, but in 3 years, it'll pay for itself. Plus, you get more distribution channels.
Yeah, well, it's distribution because I'm limited. I could pay for more on Restream, but I'm limited to I think it's 5 that I can go to. So I can go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and something, you know, YouTube and somewhere else. But
you definitely updated it though, because when I go inside of here, I see it goes to 1080 now instead of trapping me at 720.
Yeah.
So it's sweet. Yeah, I like this, but I like those bells and whistles. I want one of those little boards. I'm jealous. Like I saw your boys have them. Like you push the button and the whistles blow, and the bugs and the.
Someone like Dre, is an absolute animal when it comes to production. You know, and he's been doing it for years. You know. Yeah, I just couldn't get my head around trying to do all of that. I would mess it all up. I've actually got the equipment to do it, believe it or not.
But how do you feed it into the process, right? That's where I always like, how can I get this to fit into what I'm already doing?
Right? I mean, I could sit here and, you know, have the buttons there, but
it's not smooth. I know. I like just clicking.
Yeah.
Hey, I like when there's people, though.
Yeah.
You know, with the questions.
Yeah.
One piece though, I mean, if no one has any questions, I noticed that it could just be for the click. It could be clickbait, but it said Black Hat. You had a podcast the other day, or at least you just posted about it.
Oh yeah.
How'd that go?
Good. It was a good podcast. But yeah, the headline that the guy used was a little bit clickbaity, but it went well. And for anyone who may have seen that, I definitely stuck up for the old Black Hat techniques that are tried and tested. So, yeah, it's still going strong. But Ursol has a question. What do you think of Google using AI to fight fake GMB reviews, etc.? Do you think?
Well, I believe that they've always had a system or an element of AI to combat, the user's account, be able to calculate if it's real or not. So, what do I think about it? I think it sucks. No. Yeah, I think there's more levels of precaution while setting up accounts, aging accounts, or where you're acquiring accounts. If you were to curate reviews, I wouldn't, but if you were, yeah, there's a level of difficulty, in my opinion. But then I've tested that too. Just because it's not visible, is it not still there? Creates a contribution ID. The contribution is still alive within the profile, whether it's visible to the public or not. So then that arises the question, hey, if it's not visible but it still exists, does it affect the GBP's performance?
Mhm.
I only tested it twice. In both cases it did, but
Really?
1,000%.
God.
But these were both live accounts, like they've been online for a significant period of time. I think one of them got on in 2019. So there was already age, it's already a business, it has a bunch of reels, it was getting traffic. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of cheated.
But no, I think
But then I repeated it.
yeah, these tests are always interesting. And very often, I would have said absolutely no fucking way that could have been the case. I just off the top of my head, I would have went, nah, surely not. But it's interesting when someone actually goes and tests it, and I wasn't expecting that answer, man. I'm just like, nah, can't possibly. If it's filtered out, boom, it's dead.
Oh, if it doesn't show
Yeah,
public,
yeah.
dead.
That's what I would have assumed. Obviously, it's not something I've ever tested, but just the assumption there, I would have just been like, nah, no fucking way.
Well, it's a hard conversation if you were to, I mean, it's not a saleable asset. So if it's a monthly client where, most clients aren't buying service, they're buying result. But if they're not paying for deliverable and we're just trying to get a result, we found that to be effective. But as far as a test that I could prove and show, only twice. One was a donor, the other was, once we had the donor and had a positive, we tried it again.
Holly's saying we skipped her question. Holly, I am not seeing a question there from you other than, are you going, Chris? If that's the question, he's trying to dodge it. But if you did actually put another question in, please can you copy and paste it back in, because it's not pulled through. God. And here is me thinking Restream was all good.
I mean, I look so crisp. It sounds good, like the little meter's going.
Yeah.
As far as, no, I don't. I think I want to go away. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. But I just gonna hang out with Little C because I want to go away for my birthday. So I'm not gonna go twice.
Why
if
not?
if I had a speaking engagement or other business to attend, I could bring myself to it. But just to go for leisure, I just can't do it. Not right now. We're onboarding 2 new, like a sales rep currently, and then another helper, an integrator, if you want to call them that. So I'm training 2 new people. I can't. I just can't.
Nah, fair
You're making me feel bad.
Nah, business comes first, man. It's
business before pleasure. We never mix them. Never, never.
Nah, definitely not. Our Sol, though, is asking, is an anti-detect browser an essential? I was thinking of using multi-login. Do you use, for any of the things you do, an anti-detect browser?
Yeah, it's funny you pinpointed that one. I've tried them all. I tried the recommendation that you gave me. I forget, it starts with a K. It has like a gecko, like a little lizard. Tried that. I tried Ads Power. I've tried them all, and then when I look at how they're built or what its capabilities are, and then price to value ratio. I find multi-login to be one of the better ones, but there's lots of others. Ads Power has a big upside. But yes, I like these anti-detect browsers, but it has to also have a framework that I can automate processes, most notably like a Playwright or a Puppeteer, some type of headless browser that I'm not going to be tracked, that's event based, not time based. It's an added bonus too that they put proxies in to the software. It seems like a good idea. They don't work that well, but yeah, I like their automation. I think the price point is on target, and it works very very well. They keep it updated. They've been around, I think, one of the longest. So they've gone through lots of iterations of trouble. So they've, how business is. It's always like fires. How many fires have they put out in the last 10 years as opposed to a new company that's only been out for 2 years?
Yeah.
Multi-login has to know more. So that's just my opinion, though. But yes, I do use them.
No, I think they're definitely worth. I know lots of people that use them for all different reasons. So I think if there's the requirement there to do whatever it is you're doing, then it's a must have. I think Google are becoming cleverer, and if you can, hide behind that, then I think it's a clever way of working. But Holly's question was, have you used lobster.io? And Eric says Jackie Chow has a video on it. Just bear in mind the spelling of lobster, STR.
Wait, how come you're waiting? I was going to it. Should I not?
No, it's a scraper. So,
And what does this tool do? Is it like a multi-login of some sort?
no, nothing at all to do with multi-login. So, basically, you can do a whole bunch of if you go to the store, you'll be able to see the automations there, so you can
Oh, I see.
scrape all the local businesses from Google Maps. You can scrape tweets. You can scrape LinkedIn, TripAdvisor, or whatever it is
Wow.
you may be working on. So,
You're you're not associated to this tool, right?
no.
Okay. Yeah, because they're very expensive. Value SERP scale. You can get this many of requests. Even data for SEO, I think, is probably cheaper. I think there's a lot of other options out there, but
Mhm.
unless there's something I'm missing, Holly, is there
Um,
something cool? But I like Value SERP's giving it up cheap.
Um, Holly's saying she doesn't know the difference between that and Botsall, other than emails, maybe. And it looks exactly what Botsall does, and right. I'm assuming that's based on the pricing part there that you mentioned, Chris. But yeah, it's not one I've
Yeah,
heard
and it's
of
able
here.
to do the scrapes. It almost has, like with Value SERP or SERP scale, you have to, like, we'll just tie collaboratory to it, or like an app script, and then we'll utilize the API to make the calls so we can search for entities, whatever you're doing. That way you don't get blocked. You can do a bunch of queries. I think it's like 12 tenths of a penny per 1,000 requests. So let's just say $12 per 100,000, or I'm sorry, $12 per million, as opposed to, I come inside of here, it's $50, which UK. So that's like $60 US. So they're taxing times 4.
Yeah.
Pass.
But Holly's saying, I think if it gives you the email, which it may or may not,
That's intriguing.
yeah.
There was a tool that we stopped utilizing it once we figured out like the value SERPs and the SERP scale, data, not data for SEO so much. But I was using what the heck is it called? Oh man, it's slipped my mind. But I think it's something Square 10 or Square 12 or something along these lines. You could get all this information on one shot. It's an older tool. It'll come to me. Doesn't matter. Not too hard. Botzel does it live. There you
Yeah.
go. Botzel's been around for a while too.
Sometimes you've got to stick with the old but gold tools. So Ursol says Botsol sounds like a brand of hemorrhoid cream. That's obviously a niche that Holly's familiar with. So
Well, I was thinking like that stuff they put in the muscle to make it big.
yeah,
You ever see that?
but yeah, it's
Botzel.
probably why Holly uses it. But a question from Honey. What process do you follow to rank a Yelp-like website? How much time does it take to rank? Any idea? Have you ever tried to rank a Yelp website at all?
I've never gone out of my way to rank the website. I have noticed though, building even the lowest of quality links or including inside of a PR will get that citation to always show. So, but no, I've never taken the website and tried to rank it. But if we're just talking about like a foundational or a Web 2.0 type site, a free builder with high equity like Yelp, I've tried other assets like a Google site or a Google business site. You know, Yahoo has a really nice platform. Alibaba has one. Zoho has a really nice builder. So I've tried these assets. What does it take? It depends upon your SERP. You know, if I'm looking for, let's say, personal injury lawyers, let's say it's personal injury lawyer in Texas, I want to rank for, and I look through those 100 results. If I don't see a Yelp website, I almost probably will never get that to pop. And if it does, it won't be in the first page or second page. So if I see something like that being rewarded on the first, second, or third pages, then I'll go for it. So that's, I've gone after that before. Yes.
Yeah.
The process, links, cheap links, very, very cheap. Generally no follow comments.
We've spoke about that in previous sessions, and still working well. So, and low cost, Honey. Richest domains, still the poorest. Good day from sunny Arizona. Going to be here soon. I will be there next week. Great to see you all, Chris Palmer and everyone else.
I'll be roping me in now.
And
to a 10 on morning walk, then a swim. Wow.
back to the PC right after. No breakfast yet. You could listen in and have your breakfast at the same time. Richest domains, but also richest domains. You do, if you haven't read your emails yet. You did email the correct email address. I did reply to you, so yeah, you can ping me a message back. I'm not sure what you were going to ask, but she was checking that it was the right email address for me before she said anything. But yeah, ping me a message back, and yeah, I'll answer whatever it is you want to ask. But guys, we do have about 15 minutes left, so keep the questions coming, even if it is how to rank a Yelp website. But not read it yet. Just check your spam folder. But nah, it should be there. But I know it's early morning for you over there, so yeah. But yeah, what was I going to? I was going to ask you something there, Chris, and it's completely went out of my fucking head. It was something about old tools. God, it's when I said the old ones are the best, and I can't remember which one I was going to ask you about. Fuck, I can't remember.
Scrape box?
Nah.
GSA.
Nah. I know you use those ones. I can't even remember. The fuck it was.
Money Robot. What's that other one? What's that big one? Ranker X.
Ranker X.
SEO Neo.
SEO Neo. So Skylar is asking if we use SEO Neo at all. Do you use it, Chris?
We're testing it in the group right now. I don't utilize it. However, I had one of the gentlemen, two gentlemen within the group. They're utilizing it's building like a hyperlink to the app dot URLs, which are non-dynamic, and then blasting it across. I think it's building 200 separate sites. They don't show up in the forward-facing index, but without traffic and without reviews, they did achieve noticeable results. So we're going to test it out for ourselves because it's the same link over and over and over again, just across a bunch of sites that aren't showing up in the index. So I found that to be interesting. I'm not going to do it across the diversity of those sites. I'm going to do it through press release because it'll be faster. But other than that, no, I don't utilize it. I was using the other one. Actually, Mark, we both know Mark. When we were testing out like citations or tiering citations and directories, it was a miserable flop for us. That test was. So I don't see the usage other than tiering because it's cheap, fast links, but then there's like, it won't always land the link. I got to get accounts. I have to log in. It's just, I think there's faster, more efficient ways for me for what I'm trying to achieve. But the maps is interesting. But then I went to each of the sites like one by one. I spent like 20 minutes going to each one. I'm like, it's always the same app URL and it goes to the same place. It's just odd to me, but could be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Why do you use them? No.
I have played around with SEO Neo, but I don't do a lot of map stuff or whatever. So, yeah, it's not one that I sit and use on a day-to-day basis or anything like that. But I think it's a great tool, clever. The guys are always developing stuff and, trying their best to do things. So, you look at the likes of Money Robot and stuff like that. Nothing against them guys either, but the inventory's not new. It's just they don't update it. Maybe as much as some of the other ones. So that's one thing I would say about SEO Neo is I know the guys there are actively always trying to improve stuff. So you can't ask for more than that, to be fair.
Right.
Eric is asking, you all mentioned Value SERP and BotSol. What other scrapers do you use?
It really depends on the job. How fast do I need it? Depends on the proxies. Am I trying to save money? It really depends upon the task. But a collaboratory script works wonders for small jobs. If it's going to be something large scale, then we're going to use Value SERP or SERP scale. Same exact thing though. It's going to be a script that's going to utilize that API in order to make the requests. That's it. Really depends on the job, But now, like they have these tools out there. Like let's just say I'm trying to get a big list for the comments. They have those built with sites, and then it's not built with, but there's sites like that. I could go scan 20 million websites looking for the parameters. When you're looking for parameters in Scrapebox, and you'll put in the parameters like, oh, it needs to be PHP, whatever, right? It's called a footprint. Well, you can search 20 million sites for footprints, and then it'll kick you back the result, and then you can scan through. So with these sites, they do it fast, like literally in an hour. Poof! I have 20 million results. I can never do that. Like sites aren't playing. Now I have a monster list. That's better than going to the vendors and cherry picking from them. It's cheaper. It's faster.
Yeah.
So yeah. There you go. A little nug for you.
It depends, the famous answer, but Jordan has said SERP and Value SERP are both APIs, great APIs to use. You've also got Appify and stuff like that as well. But again, it comes down to cost, what you're trying to scrape, and all of that kind of stuff. So time. Yeah. And also, I think Eric makes a good point here as well. Let's say scraping Google Maps for business name, category, and email address for cold outreach. So it depends on what you're trying to get data wise. So
What's that other tool?
there's tons of them, man.
Yeah, but there was one where I really, really liked it. When many, many moons ago, one of the processes was looking for expired maps listings and then acquiring the site to go with it. And we were utilizing one specific tool and it worked exceptionally well. I thought it was like N8 or something along these lines. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a really good tool I wanted to mention. But I forget its name. I think it's like LD Lead Finder or something like that. D7 Lead Finder, something along these lines. Great tool. Does that ring a bell or no?
It's not something I've not been big on maps for a number of years. So, yeah, probably not my cup of tea.
Yeah, D7 Lead Finder. That's it. Great tool.
D7.
D7 Lead Finder. That's the name of it. Worked exceptionally well for those tasks. It's another one.
Yeah. There you have it.
Wow. So it's a slow haul. I hope next week is much better.
I'll be in the sunshine anyway, so it will be much better. But Holly is going as well, Richest Domains. So honey, I'm not so sure because I'm not sure which honey that is. The comments on here, I'm not sure if I don't think it's Honey Witcher, but I could be wrong. So, yeah. But Abdul, guest posting, how do I convince if my website DR is less than theirs instead of money? What? So how do I convince if my website DR is less than theirs instead of money rather than any methods or techniques? I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, but
so you can't get a reciprocal link because your DR is low. So that's an out, I assume. And then you're looking for a way. How do I coax somebody with a high DR? They've taken the time, they've built the equity. How can I get value from them without giving them value? Other than money, what could you offer them? And that's the question, I assume. What could you? What could you have that they don't? Other than dollars, maybe perhaps, that would be of value to them. Right? Like I think dollars is the best way to negotiate.
I think, yeah. I mean, there's no way that someone's going to link out to you. I think years and years gone past, you could maybe smooth talk someone or they didn't understand the value of what they're giving you. But I think now, in this day and age, people know the value of what they're giving up there. And I, for the life of me, couldn't see someone just doing that just for the sheer hell of it. If you don't have anything as powerful in your inventory that can help me, then it's always going to boil down to what's in it for me. I'm not going to just help someone else, go and rank well or whatever. So without being compensated, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one. Unless you plead, and pulling someone's heartstrings or whatever, I'm sure there'll be a few people out there who maybe go for it, but yeah. But I think just coughing up the money if you haven't got it, you will need to try other things. But yeah, it's there's no crazy special technique. There are actually a few link marketplaces. They what do they call it again? Like a three-way link. So you can go on there, and if you've got an asset and you point to that person, they basically connect you with multiple people, and they do it that way.
Like reciprocal.
Yeah, reciprocal. That's the word I'm looking for.
You link, I link.
Yeah.
And then too, there's tons of. I think dollars is going to be your big motivator, though.
Yeah.
Well, they're on like it was what, a year and a half ago. I think we sent out 50,000 mails, like just cold, like, hey, we're buying links. Like, I forget, it's inside the group. I think I got 125 responses. Most of them were profane and or astronomical amounts, or like, hey, Damon, this mail does not exist. You
Yeah.
know, literally 50,000.
It's but yeah, I think dollars is the be all and end all, in all honesty. I just can't see it being any other way, man. There is no techniques that would now work effectively for you, unfortunately. I remember back in the day, it must have been like 2000 and something. Everyone used to have the link exchange page on their website. Do you remember? And they're like, yeah, copy and paste my link on first, then reach out to me and I'll place yours back. Fucking the amount of times I've done that, no one ever fucking get back to me anyway. And I'd placed their link on it. Yeah, just like, you bastard. That was, and it was just too much work to try and remember who'd done that to you, man. You're just like, God. But that was the old-fashioned way. But link exchange, whatever, builders link exchange was all you had to Google, and up came all of those websites that were prepared to do that. So that was the fun old days. But I wonder if that's still a thing. Do you still think there's people out there with that shit on their website? I'm going to check that, actually. Builders link exchange.
What I see a lot now is Right For Us. That's a cool one.
Because they used to give you the fucking HTML code and everything on those old pages. I was just curious.
Even the schools, like, remember there used to be a page and you could make a donation and then you could get like a link.
Yeah.
Like, you could make a $10, $20. Usually it was $100 or more, and they would have a page up. Like, that's gone. Like, people are on to us.
Yeah.
Times are hard. Oh man, you made a face. Do you know why? Are there assets out there? It's still easy.
No,
Don't
no,
you remember
no.
that? Like, LCCC. It's Luzerne County. It's just a community college. They used to literally have a page. Get something for a book. I forget. They had like a saying, and you'd give them $100, and you'd get listed on their page for 1 year.
Fucking hell.
That's awesome.
Inc.com had something similar.
That's one, yeah.
In recent years, but I don't think there's too many of those kicking around, if I'm being honest. But Inc., I think I still pay for Inc.com, to be fair.
I've had that for 2 years. I saw Thrive. I was looking like, what do these guys have? That's where I first saw it, Thrive Marketing, and I was like, Inc., how the heck? Profile, $92. Oh, I need that. Yep.
But one final question. Is on page is a one-time setup for targeting keywords for ranking, and the rest of it link building with articles and collaborations?
No.
It's always changing, always tweaking, always polishing and refining. Yeah, time-consuming, writing articles with hardcore criteria. I don't think you can just do again, we're back in 2007. Yes, stick a page up and bugger off and don't even look at it again, and it would potentially rank. But just based on everything else that's happening now, the amount of updates and things like that, I just think you've got to freshness of content. Yeah, there's just so much other things at play now, and I just think you've got to constantly tweak and refine and polish, and even sometimes putting up a really good page that you deem to be very, very well optimized based on other pages that you've got performing well. Sometimes that page just doesn't fucking stick for one reason or another, even if you've copied something that's worked time and time again in the same URL. Sometimes for whatever reason, that one just doesn't fucking stick. And you've just got to tweak it and make sure that
The sentiment's right.
yeah.
The entity usage, diversity.
What else is being rewarded for that search term? Because if you write, let's say the keyword is I don't know, used cars, for example, and you check that SERP out and you're trying to say something different, like you say, Chris, the sentiment might be out or whatever. If you're trying to say something different from what else has been rewarded multiple times across the internet, you're going to find that really hard to stick. So, and people say, well, why?
Point out what?
Why? Surely I can go in there and say this. No, if Google feels that this is what should be served for whatever search term, and the narrative that's been painted through all of the other entities and everything else that's out there, then that is what they deem to be the right answer. And if you're saying something that maybe is slightly more controversial or whatever it may be, you could be messing that up in a big way. So yeah. So always be testing and polishing up. And yes, richest domains it is, but we need more questions for next week because it's been a rough session this week. We got there in the end.
True.
But yeah, we do thank you for the ones that have come and asked questions, but anyone else listening, make sure you come and ask your questions for next week because we want to go through them faster, quicker, and all of that stuff. Plus, I'll be sitting in the sunshine this time next week, so
nice.
I want to show it off to more people. So,
goodness. Well,
yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Craig.
Yes, and before we wrap up, guys, please do check out the News Guy logo up there. Link is below, and check out Chris Palmer. .org. He never got the .com yet.
Oh, he's not coming off of it. Do you have CraigCampbell.com?
No, I'm in a similar boat, mate. I've got .co.uk. The .com is used by an artist, and he's had it for many years. And he basically got a real old website on it, and I've messaged him multiple times, and he ain't giving it up, man. He's just not giving it up. So
you're probably way more generous than me.
And dude, I can tell you off the top of my head that this domain expires in October every year. And every year for maybe the last 10 years, dude, every October I'm just waiting, man. I'm just waiting.
The back order's in.
It's not happening, man. So maybe one day.
One day.
I'm not utilising it properly, man. So what can we do? But anyway, rant over, everyone. And we'll see you at the same time next week.
See ya.
See you.